Welcome to the channel, and it is Wednesday, and Wednesday can only mean one thing in the evening: Whiskey Wednesday. So yeah, I can't believe a week's gone since my last outrageous Whiskey Wednesday. Had quite a bit of whiskey last week, didn't we? Looking at it, yeah, a fair amount of that went. Crikey! So officially, like we always do on Whiskey Wednesday, we listen to the pop into shiny precious metals. Lovely glass that he sent me. Oh, crikey. Can officially, cheers everybody, Whiskey Wednesday has started. So I hope you're all well. Like always, actually I'm going to put it there. Like always, no agenda. No one's asked me to specifically talk about anything. The clock will be chiming in the background, depending on how long I'm on for. You may notice I've actually put a shelf up, which I found a little bit easier, and I've added some more. It makes it a little bit easier actually, to be fair. And there's a good reason. I've still got my chessboard and Monopoly board over in the corner there. I've got Mr. Max, German Shepherd, now on show. And at the other end, I thought I'd put a picture of a cat with a cat's eyes looking after my Silver Angel boxes. Just to give it a little bit of uniformity. But yes, I put a shelf up. One, it's easier from the old whiskey barrel that Cobra Stacker sent me to sit there. It's nice and high now, so it makes it a bit easier. And yeah, there's a reason, because on Whiskey Wednesdays, we're going to have a bit of a giggle this week. I've decided to start getting some little things and putting them up on the shelf. And wow, I've just shown my address. What an idiot. Never mind, don't worry. This is the first parcel that I shall open on a Whiskey Wednesday. I just find it really difficult to open stuff. I'm just going to put that to one side. I'll slice down the middle and see what we've got inside. Okay. Yeah. My address is now obscured. So what do we got? We have, ta-da, we have a camel. Now why did I get a camel? You've probably heard loads of times me talk about Camel Finance's channel. And yeah, the channel has taught me so much. He's getting married today. He's probably married now, and really having some good fun. So cheers, buddy. Here's to you and Mrs. Camel, wishing you every success in your marriage. And yeah, looking forward to you. Camel's actually going to come on the channel in September, so I'm really looking forward to that. But today, I just want to pay homage and total respect. The guy's channel, Camel Finance, on YouTube. If you really want to learn a trader's view, a professional trader's view, I would highly recommend going to Camel Finance. Cheers, mate. It's going to be one of those videos. So you can see what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to use that shelf space and buy some little things that remind me of creators' channels. A camel, I think, can sit there behind the bottle for now, just peering out between the whiskey barrel as you can probably see. Just keeping an eye on me to make sure I'm being a good boy. So yeah, Camel Finance, you're the first. Actually, you're not. That's ridiculous actually to say you're the first. You're not the first, because the first was Shiny Precious Metals. The second was Cobra Stacker with the Cobra Stacker coin round. Sorry. And now Camel is the third. And there's more to come. What else was in the box? A Whiskey Bell, which I thought would be really cool for Whiskey Wednesday. Bit silly, but ring for whiskey, very apt for Whiskey Wednesday. So that's going to sit up on the shelf. And that reminds me a little bit, although it's not what I want. That reminds me of 365, because he likes to have a good old whiskey. Cheers, mate. Hopefully you'll be back soon. Yeah, he likes a good old whiskey on his channel. And I will say, today I happened to watch World Money Wins show his, I've got to say this right, I nearly said bourbon, but it's not bourbon, that's a chocolate biscuit, a bourbon collection. He's into his bourbons, and that was fascinating. So cheers to World Money Wins as well on Whiskey Wednesday. And that was very apt to show that on a Wednesday. So on this shelf, I've got some more things coming this week, which is going to be hilarious. I'm trying to find things that are relatable to the channels that I watch. So I'm gonna buy some little things that will make me laugh on a Whiskey Wednesday. And yeah, but seriously, good luck to Camel today. I hope your wedding went well, mate. I'm sure it did. Hopefully you had some good weather. And I wish you a lot of happiness, you and Mrs. Camel, that's for sure. So yeah, what else has been going on this week? I will mention Cobra Stacker. Now, Cobra Stacker, I did I can't remember what it was. Was it? The time goes so quick, doesn't it? Last Tuesday, I think it was. Not yesterday. Last week. We did. I helped him do an auction, which was really enjoyable. It seemed to go down well. Now he's having a proper auction this coming Sunday at, I believe, 7:30 British time. Yeah, that looks really exciting. I see one of his videos today showing some stuff that he'd purchased to put on that auction. So that looks really interesting. I'm going to be very, very, very interested and probably participating. Hopefully not too heavily, but I won't be able to help myself, no doubt. But yeah, I wish you a lot of luck with that. I wish you all the best. Now he's got some help from the Stat Collector this week, so that would be cool. It'd be good to see how it goes. So yeah, if you get the time, head over to Cobra Stacker's channel, and yeah, go and have a bit of fun and see how this auction idea works out. I'm sure it'll be absolutely brilliant. He's got some wonderful stuff that he wants to auction out. So yeah, and I'm sure it won't be just the normal generic silver that you see. I'm sure he's going to have some very different type of silver, which I've seen a little preview of some of it, and it looks like I may not be able to resist actually taking part myself. So yeah, good luck to that, which is really cool. As I've mentioned, World Money Wins, I really enjoyed that video today, looking at his bourbon collection. What else is going on? Oh, I think, did I see it right? I think 365 mentioned, put out a little teaser, still not as a video, just as an image. Might have done that on his community post. I think possibly look out maybe for the 5th of September, I think it was. So yeah, go and check out his channel. You'll be able to see it. I think it's in his community tab. So that'd be interesting. Hopefully he'll be back and get some more varied content. What else have I noticed or been intrigued by? Well, there's a few things that I want to talk about, but other than that, I want to try and keep it a bit more fun this week. It was a little bit hardcore last week, but who knows? Who knows once this gets inside me where it'll go. Let's think. I keep looking at that camel because it's just looking at me. It's really funny. No, I can't think of anything personally. I'm trying to put out some different type of content now. My studio's coming together with different backdrops, so that's really cool. I'm coming into my my busy season. Winters, I've been a plumbing and heating engineer. The build up to winter and after winter, depending on the weather, obviously, can be quite busy for me. I do apologise. My clock's going to go bong in a minute, and hopefully it'll do 7 chimes, which I totally missed last week on Whiskey Wednesday. For some reason, I only took notice of 5. Cobra Stacker found it really funny. He thought I was too drunk to recognise there was 7, but he was probably right. Yes, the studio's coming on lovely. I'm really enjoying creating. It's really helping me try to think about what I want to do. So that's really cool. My collections, I'm really pleased I've decided to do that, because that's keeping my interest in silver going forward. And you'll notice on my next video that comes out, that's hilarious. It's so cool having that there. It so reminds me, I used to listen to that clock. This is how old it is. Now I'm 58 years of age. I used to have to listen to that clock at my grandparents' house, probably when I was 6, like 42 years ago. No, 52 years ago, crikey. Wow, half a century. And it still works, which is amazing. Yeah, some great memories there. All very apt, it has to be said, to what we do in life, you know. But anyway, yeah, this week, what do I want to talk? I want to be a little bit more, maybe positive. Now, what's been really interesting this week is silver seems to be on a bit of a charge. I'm sure. I'm just going to look it up now while I'm on the making a video. It's let me jump into Atkinson site. Atkinson's, here we go. Live gold price. Right, gold's sitting at £1. £1. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, if it was £1? £1,530.08 per ounce at the moment. So that's had a significant rise just in a short period of time. And then the silver price, which is more interesting, is £19.39. So yeah, that's actually it's come down a little bit today. It actually peaked today at £19.65p. So yeah, that's gone mad. I mean, that's probably gone up a couple of pounds in a week. So that goes to show that's really cool. Now, in my biggest endeavours, and I'm not going to go there this week, I still fail to totally understand what's going on that makes this go up and down. But I'm going to have a laugh with it this week and fantasize, not fantasize, but be a little bit dreamy, and start and just talk about what if silver does this thing. We know it's hit $50. I don't know what that is in pounds. We know it's hit $50. I don't know when. Was it 2010, something like that? After the financial crisis, really. So it's a possibility for it to get there. What if it does it again? What would you do? You know, you guys that have probably been stacking and collecting for years and years and years, would you be tempted? You've got to be tempted, haven't you? If you're sitting there with, 1,000 ounces, 500 ounces, 300 ounces, 2,000 ounces, it's got to be tempting. And which would mean probably, what's the possibility of gold ever hitting like that? We know it hit its all-time high this year, I believe. What if it goes up, to peaks towards that 3,000 mark? Is it tempting to sell a bit? Is it tempting? Not tempting? And added to that, you all know I like my Bitcoin. That's had a bit of good news this week with the spot Bitcoin ETF, possibly, maybe being approved at some point, maybe before 2014, maybe just into 2014. What's that going to do to the price of Bitcoin? If you've got any, probably, I don't know. I don't know how high that could go. That's crazy. But I just wanted to, wouldn't it be so cool? I've bleated on about having gold, silver, Bitcoin, blick. It's not. I can promise you, it's not even the alcohol. I've been a good boy tonight. I didn't start early. I've never hidden it. I'm a gold, silver, Bitcoin guy. I've got other things I invest in, but I'm just going to talk about those three. What if they all hit? What if they all hit these big highs in the next couple of years? How cool would that be? How really cool would that be? How cool would my Whiskey Wednesday be? I'd be a mess, I think. I could certainly indulge in some more expensive tastings on a Wednesday, which would be really cool. You could do a lot of things, but always at the back of my mind, and I'm not going to be too negative, is value. We all talk about, and I do, and I can't help doing it. We're all the time. What about the price? The price of this, the price of that. When it goes through the roof, how valuable is that price going to be? How much value? If I've often thought like if silver, you know, breaks that all-time high, if gold does it, you know, if Bitcoin does it, what what do we value it in? And and if we value it in the pound still, the dollar still, wherever you live in the world, whatever your currency is that currency going to be of any value? Especially if things like these sort of assets have gone through the roof, because something would have happened for everyone. Because the only reason why I can see it can go through the roof is a lot of wealth has fleed into those assets, and if they fleed into those assets, there's got to be a reason why. So yeah, I do sit there and think, I do try and fantasize and think my currency will be of value in the future. But I can't help but think, will it? Will it or won't it? But yeah, these things here, these crazy bits of pounds. What's the purchasing power going to be like when we get to $30-40 an ounce of silver, or $3,000 an ounce of gold, or God knows what with Bitcoin? What's this stuff? This is only our way of converting it and spending. What's this stuff going to be worth then? What's happened to this stuff? You know? Hopefully nothing. Hopefully it's still around. Hopefully we'll all be out buying Rolex watches, supercars. So fantasy, isn't it? So crazy. What has happened to us, eh? So yeah, it does make me wonder, you know. But getting back to my silver, I know I gave it a bit of a beating last week, but if you actually listen to the message, it wasn't so much of a beating. It was just my thoughts on, you know, always liking to think outside that box and not be in the fantasy world that I'd love to be in most of the time. But yeah, this week's videos I've been doing, I've just instantly fallen in love with my silver again. It's a love-hate relationship. It's crazy, because I don't know about anyone. Does anyone else have this sort of thing with their precious metals? If I don't, well, I'd probably get out most of these pieces quite often. Well, not most of them, just a few things. But I've just noticed, especially this week, I've really noticed that I'm more concentrating on video and content, and actually not really noticing my silver when it's out in front of the camera. And I've just been like, oh, I need to talk about something, or I really want to talk about something, I want to talk about something on my channel. And I sort of get so involved in the message, but I forget the product that I'm talking about. And this week, and that's how I can get a little bit sort of blasé about, you know, oh God, you know, is it really worth it? It's just, you've heard me all say it, and I don't apologise for it, because in one aspect it's true. But often I say, well, it's just a piece of silver, which it is. You know, there's no doubt in that. It is just a piece of silver, or just a piece of gold, or just a electronic Bitcoin. Yeah, and I'm really guilty of it. But this week, because I've been setting up and having some time, I've actually looked at what I've got, and I've started to really admire it again, and just fall in love, not with just the piece of silver, but those flipping designs that they cleverly put on these silver coins and bars. Not that I've got many bars, you'll see that in a video soon. But it's really made me look at the design and what that design means more. And yeah, the love-hate relationship continues, which is It's bizarre. It's really weird. I don't know if anyone else is like it. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys out there, it would appear, like Stephen. I mean, Stephen. I was watching Stephen's videos the other day. He hadn't posted for quite a while, but he's obviously been stacking for a long, long, long time. And yeah, I was quite blown away with what he's been stacking. I highly recommend you go over and have a look at Stephen's. I'll put all these, if I remember, I'll put all these people in people's video channels in the description when I've finished. But yeah, look, getting back to Stephen. I was looking at it and thinking, oh crikey, how much old a lot of us, well, I don't know what you do, but I presume you case it, you might store it somewhere, you might put it in a safe, you might have it in a vault somewhere. I don't know. I really have no idea. But I would imagine most people wouldn't leave it out for a long period of time. So it's just made me sit there and think, well, if most people are doing that, do we have a tendency to forget what we're actually looking at? And how often do we get it out and actually admire the beauty of the design? And then that makes me ask a question: am I buying the precious metal for the precious metal, or am I buying it for the design? There's a great question there, actually. What do you do? What do you do? And that's interesting. Here we go. We're going down a rabbit hole of thought, which is good. If you're stacking silver for weight, are you worried about the design? No, probably not. What you're more worried about is getting value from a price to weight ratio. Makes 100% logical sense, that statement I just made, I think. So if that's the case, would it not be best if you could just to buy a blank piece of silver with no design on it? And then hopefully you're getting the most cost-effective piece of bar, coin, well, round, precious metal for your money. But I don't think there's much of that out there, really. So if it's the next logical step from that is to buy the cheapest possible silver with, I don't know, would you worry about the design, or is it about the design? Have the mint manufacturers really had a dilemma here and thought, okay, how can we make the cheapest piece of bullion but with the most appealing design so people buy them? So is that why the Britannia looks so pretty? Is that why the maple looks so cool? Is that why the Krugerrands? The Krugerrands a little bit basic, but I like the idea of the I can't remember what it is. What the animal is the South African national animal. I can't remember what it is. That looks quite pretty, but as a rule, you just see. I can't remember the president's name. Paul or Peter Kruger. Peter Kruger, was it? But yeah, pretty plain, but fairly reasonably priced. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Is it about the design? Does the design make you buy this? It's got to, isn't it? It's got to, and that swings me right back to, since I've been sorting out my silver, since hopefully you've been watching my videos, recent videos. It's made me become a collector now because I'm falling in love with certain designs like the Kookaburras, the Britannias, getting date runs on both of them. I did a thing with the nature thing, and it's very interesting to me because I was talking to Cobra Stacker yesterday, I think it was, and he likes his Kookaburras, and he was saying like he really doesn't like the koala. And I thought, oh God, I've just put a video up with a koala on that. But that's my point, you know. Is it about the coin and what it is, which is a silver coin or silver round, or is it about what's on it from a visual point of view? It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and it's really getting me to think about. Well, I'm starting to move away as I sod the piece of silver. You know, I just want to start looking at stuff that's really nice, you know, and being into my photography and being into, you know, light and whatever and presentation. Yeah, it's bit me and took me full circle yet again. It's so weird. The silver world is strange. There is no logic to it. If I start applying any logic, I just blow it out the window. It's it's just an amazing, amazing world that I can see the addiction, the like, the reason why there's so many mints around, the reason why it's so popular. Yeah, obviously, it's cheaper than gold. But yeah, definitely that can be exploited to the raw in a good way too, and in a dodgy way, obviously. So yeah, I find that really fascinating. That's what a far cry I've come from in 1 week. And that's purely because I have just sat down with my silver, sorting it out with a bit of time. It's not locked away, sitting in the dark somewhere, and just admiring it for what it is and understanding why it attracts me. Weird. How did we end up there? Blimey. It's mad, isn't it? I can't believe. I always feel like I haven't been talking for very long. Probably a lot of you watching, even if you get this far into my videos, are thinking, God, you haven't stopped talking. But yeah, that's like 37 minutes into this video already. Yeah, guys, I need you to give me some subjects to talk about, because sometimes I get a little bit paranoid that I don't want to keep running over a load of crap like I do sometimes. And it'd be nice to have a bit of interaction from you guys too, which would be really cool. So yeah, that's silver. That's me gone on a full circle from a big rant about, oh, silver's not a good investment. That's another story, and I'm not going to go there this week. But when you look at it from what I've just explained, from a pleasure point of view, from a, you know, if you look at investment as pleasure, then it is a good investment because it's given me a lot of pleasure at the moment. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's only when we put that horrible pound note, dollar, euro, whatever currency, yen, yuan, rupee. It's only when we apply that bloody currency to it, then we all become very different. It's crazy, isn't it? What a crazy world we live in. We really do. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But anyway, fantasy. What would you do? What would you do if silver, if you're sitting with a fairly modest stack of silver, mediocre, modest-ish stack of gold, all depends, and a decent bit of Bitcoin, and they all do whatever they're supposed to do. What would you do? Would you invest it in? Would you carry on investing? Would you carry on buying? Do you think there's ever a point where you think, oh my God, with our currency that we're actually using now, is there a point where we just won't be able to afford any of these things? It's interesting, isn't it? There's always another side to the story. Always. And yeah, that's a realm that I quite often get myself trapped in. I can get carried away with the fantasy and forget the logic and the reality. But I do like the fantasy. I must admit, I love dreaming. It's super cool, absolutely super cool. So what's coming up? I'm going to have a break for a week from this weekend. I've got a few things I need to do, unfortunately. Well, fortunately and unfortunately. So there may not be a lot of content for me for a week. I've been trying to build up my videos this week to make sure I get a trickle of content out over the next week. I'm crazy looking forward to Cobra Stacker's auction. I was really hoping to go to the coin show on Saturday, but someone mentioned on one of the lives that there was a train strike that on that particular day, and I thought, oh crikey, I don't want to get caught in a blooming train strike. It's dear enough. Train dike? What's one of those? Train strike. And end up travelling all day because I need to get back on for Sunday. Saturday night because of some stuff that's going on Sunday. So I don't really know right. And then Cobra, unfortunately, and his Mrs. Cobra Stacker got COVID, and I was sitting there thinking, I really don't want COVID either. You know, been stuck on that, so I decided not to go, which is a bit of a shame. But you know, I sat there and I thought, oh crikey, wouldn't it be cool, you know, as a community to this is just my thoughts going forward in the UK, is maybe you know, if that's successful for the guys, then maybe, you know, once every 3 months or something, we could arrange to meet in a certain part of the country for people that want to go or don't want to go, you know, just for coffee somewhere and just meet up. So we're not all strangers. I know some people like that, some people don't, but if we don't put it on the table, I was thinking about that. Let me know what you think about that. Would you be interested? There was something going on in the Midlands, East Midlands, West Midlands, the north of England, the south of England, southwest of England, Wales, you know, whatever. You know, every now and then, just so we get to meet up rather than just a text or a comment. I know that's the way of the world, but I'm really old school. I'm so old school, it's ridiculous. I still like to have that conversation. My conversations with Cobra Stacker, verbally on the phone, you know, or we might FaceTime. Very rarely, but we might video and actually see each other and talk to each other. It's really cool. Really cool, and I don't particularly want to miss that. I think socialising is really healthy. Cheers. I hope you're really proud of me. I don't think I sworn once this week. I really thought I'm going to try not to, and I want to keep the chat light. I want to keep the subjects light. So yeah, other than that, there's not a lot going on. The world of the financial world is really interesting. I was listening, and this might interest people that are just wholly interested in investing. I was listening to someone while I was at work today. I had my headphones in, and he was explaining that, oh, I don't want to butcher this. Please don't take my word for it. Do your own research for sure. But he was going through a lot of historical history on the S&P, and to cut a long story short, he was talking about the big 8 tech industries at the moment. The only reason why the S&P is doing well this year is because of these 8 industries, and things like Nvidia, all the normal, Facebook, Amazon, Google, Tesla, all those sort of companies. But only 8, and when you think there's 500, and he did the maths on it, and I will butcher this, but it worked out that these 8 companies are responsible for, I don't know, almost 30% of the growth in the S&P, which is ridiculous when you think there's 500 companies. And then he done the maths, and it it's really I'm finding it fascinating because you think the stock market's doing really well when you look at data, but I implore you to actually look at data and do the deep dive and try and understand that it isn't just what people want you to see. If you start digging, then you get to understand that it's certain elements that make something happen, and they're the elements that you want to invest in. Now, I'm not saying don't invest in the S&P. S&P? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. The S&P. That's the Scottish National Party, isn't it? SP 500. The S&P 500. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying do it or don't. But I think I chuckle to myself so much when I now see headlines, listen to headlines, listen to people's or read people's thumbnails. It all starts to become very predictable, which is fascinating. And I'll always go back to my little messages that I've always put out there, and that's trust no one, verify everything. And if you have that policy, and you don't have to do it in a nasty way, if you look at that trust no one, verify everything. If you need to verify it, you need to go on a deep dive, and then it's up to you how far you go with that deep dive. But it's quite amazing. I got caught out very recently, not badly or anything like that. I just failed to neglect to look at some fundamentals before I invested in a company, and I got it totally wrong. I'm not scared to admit that. I didn't lose a lot of money or anything, but if I'd looked at a few more fundamentals before, which I do in other things I've done, I just like got stuck in with a hype with the AI hype. Found this company and I thought, yeah, that looks good, and I don't know why I just didn't look at the more fundamentals. Its valuation was horrendously overvalued. Of course, it took a dive, so I got out of that trade pretty quick. Stored the cash now, and now what I will do is just wait now and I do like the company, but I got in too early. At the wrong time. I bought in at the hype time rather than its true valuation time, and that was a big lesson for me to learn. So that's, yeah, trust no one, verify everything. And I didn't take my own words for that. You know, we do this every now and then, but thankfully it didn't cost me loads of money or anything. So that was really cool. So that's a great message, and I am constantly learning myself. But that's made me just sit back and just whoa. Let's just take our time when we're doing this stuff. There's no rush. Anyone thinks you're going to miss out, then there's always another time. If it makes sense to just wait, hang on, do your due diligence, however you say that. I think that's right. Bang. Actually, my clock's wrong. It's 10 minutes late, so obviously it loses time because it's 20 to 8, not 7:30. But yeah, good lesson learnt there. So I still like the company, but I'm going to wait until its true value is reflected in its share price, and then I'll go back in, probably at the right price as well. So yeah, big lesson learnt there. But yeah, there's going to be a ton of hype at the moment. But I think today's video that come out at 5 o'clock on my channel was about the banks. And the reason why I put it out there is because there's so much hype at the moment about, well, it's been like it all year, and as I say on my video, it's quite valid. People do have issues. I'm not disputing that at all. But from my point of view, I thought I'd do a video and try and cut through the hype and the clickbait a little bit. Although the way I titled mine was probably a bit clickbaity, but there's a reason for that. Was I would really like to know the real hard, realistic, are people having problems as a rule? And yeah, I'm looking forward to the feedback on that, because that will then help me either be confident in what I'm doing or have a little bit more precaution. Because if banks are being a little bit dodgy with people buying silver, buying gold, buying Bitcoin, buying crypto, whatever they're buying, share, whatever, I don't know, whatever the reasons are. I personally haven't had any issues whatsoever. My bank hasn't. Yeah, when I first started with crypto, it was a little bit weird. But it just was just making sure that I was doing what I wanted to do, which was cool. And ever since then, it's been absolutely fine. Never had an issue. And I don't think I've had any issues with. Well, I think I had a bit of an issue when I did a purchase from Atkinson's once. The bank just asked me to just double check what I was doing, which I did. But that was it. Over like 2 years, that's all. They haven't banned me from banking with them at all. So I'm not denying that people don't have issues. I would just like to, from my point of view, the reason why I did it was, I just want some honesty back from the community to say, like, is this really an issue or is it not? And is it only affecting certain types of, is it just businesses, or is it clickbait? Is it just bollocks, you know? Oh, I swore. Damn. Oh, no. I was doing so well. But you know what I mean. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to get a bit of feedback from that. So, yeah, that's about all in my life at the moment. I am loving it. I am really excited. I'm, how do I say this? Do you ever question, Elliot? Here you go. I'm going to ask you guys actually. Do you ever question? Is there any part of it in your investment journey? Do you ever question what you're doing? And especially when we all know that there is no, if you're doing I don't know, the right thing or the wrong thing. If you think you're doing the right thing, then I think you'd have to admit to yourself there is no quick, rich scheme. The the gold at the end of the rainbow is a long rainbow, and that's measured in years. But do you ever query and think, oh, I'm sure you do, oh, am I doing the right thing? Have I done the right thing? Is this going to be the thing of the future? Will this really protect me if the SHIT hits the fan? Is this going to protect me from inflation? You know, the questions that go through our heads all the time. Do you do that, or are you pretty blasé to it? That's what I'm doing. Done. Pardon me. But what I wanted to say with that is, when you go through these doldrums, these down spells, where you ask these questions, and then all of a sudden, for me personally, all of a sudden a few more dots are dotted and a few more T's are crossed in your view of how your investment is going to fit into what may be going on, you know, getting back to the chessboard scenario. When that happens, which has happened a couple of times for me this week, it's lovely. It's that reassuring, yes, CPM, there you go, hang on in there, you're doing the right thing. Does anyone else get that? Or does anyone bothered about it? Or do you just not? I'm so invested in what I do, it's crazy. That's a good word, actually, invested in what I do. I love it. I absolutely love it. I find it very tactically pleasing for my brain. Um, so yeah, that's why I ask you questions, because that if most of you don't do that, it makes me a bit of a weirdo. Cheers. Or maybe I'm just expressing what most of us are thinking sometimes. But yeah, I do. You do come up with a strategy which you hope will make sense, and you logically will think it out and think, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that happening. I can see us going into the digital world. I can see a CBDC coming in. I can see the banking industry changing. I can see our currencies obviously collapsing with inflation and devaluing, and blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. All that stuff. Um, will my strategy work? Am I in the right thing? Am I deploying my money that shall work hard for, like all of us work hard for, in the right directions? And then when certain things happen and those dots are dotted and the T's are crossed, which isn't as often as all the FUD and all the crap out there, but they seem to happen every now and then, just to go, yeah, CPM, keep doing what you're doing, keep learning, keep striving to learn, don't worry to fail, change your strategy, go with your heart, don't let your head rule, don't let your ego rule, all these things. And then every now and then you just get that confirmation that maybe me and my son is a great thing. We're both into investment. It's been quite fun actually this week. We've been setting him up a stocks and shares ISA, which is really cool. But certain things happen, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and he's quite an intelligent youngster, really, to be fair. And we both say we don't know, but we know. And that's quite powerful. A lot of people might sit there and think, "What the hell has he just said?" You don't know, but you know. There's a difference there. The don't know bit is probably directed as, I don't know the outcome. As I've said a zillion million times, I'm not in control of the outcome at that level. I'm not born into it. I'm not a part of it or anything. But then deep down, you just know. It's a really weird one, and we both tell each other that every now and then, and that's just that another bit of confirmation as, yeah, that makes sense. We've done the deep dive. We've done the deep whatever. We're not sure, but we are sure, if that makes sense. But we don't put the emphasis on we are sure. We just go with that flow. Sounds really weird, doesn't it? Sounds a bit weird. I don't know why I said that, but that's what we do, and I think that's the difference between using your heart to think, or your head to think. So there, I'm going to wrap that up, guys. Please, that's Whiskey Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to changing the subject. This shelf, I've got some great things I've ordered. This shelf here is going to be dedicated to everything about Whiskey Wednesday, and it's going to represent people that I interact with, people that I get on with over time. And yeah, let me know. That was a bit calmer this week. Do you like the calm CPM, or do you like the outrageously spoken CPM? Because most of the time I get so passionate about stuff, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, and I can't stand it when people get blindsided for other people's gain. I think that's awful. I don't think it's right. I struggle with it personally, at a personal level, at a spiritual level, but I understand it. I understand everyone's got a right to be the way they want to be. But yeah, there's enough struggle out there as it is, and I get very passionate when it works against us normal human people, beings. I get really annoyed, and that comes out in my passion. So yeah, and I start swearing and whatever. So I've been very good. So yeah, let me know. Is this the calm CPM Whiskey Wednesday? Do you like that, or do you like a mix, or do you like the go for it? Don't hold back. Whiskey Wednesday. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I've got lots of stuff that I want to do. I'm going to have a bit of a break for a week, and there's all sorts of stuff coming up in September. I'm going to try and do as many videos as I can before my break, just to make sure there's a bit of drip content out there. Means Whiskey Wednesday's not going to exist next week. There's no point in me pre-planning a Whiskey Wednesday because it's never going to be Whiskey Wednesday, is it? So anyway, take care of yourselves. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Karma CPM. And please just email me, comment. Let me know if you want me to touch on anything, or if you want to know a little bit more about what I do or what I don't do or whatever. Interaction is really cool. I have some really good regular people. Pieces of 8, Every Cloud. I've got to try and remember everyone now. Jim Wan. There's so many people. Stack Collector, Cobra Stacker, 365 when he's around. And on and on and on and on. And there's new people interacting on my channel all the time, and I love it. I think that interaction is really cool. As I've said a zillion million times, I want to make and secure my own wealth with my own work, and I will definitely. I don't know what's going to happen to the channel, obviously. But I definitely won't be relying on this channel to look after me and my family, that's for sure. If it does contribute, great. Yeah. And that's another thing is, if anyone wants to buy me, I hate saying this, but if you do want to buy me a coffee or a whiskey, then that's all on my channel, and that would be really appreciated. But I would appreciate the interaction more. I definitely like that. I like that interaction more. I don't care whether you agree with any of my stuff or disagree. I don't want anyone to follow what I'm doing ever. I want you to really be encouraged to do your own thing. Saying that, with my shelf, if anyone wants to send me anything, reach out, and I'll put you up on my shelf, and you can feature on my channel that way, which would be really cool. So I'm going to ring a bell to the end of this week's Whiskey Wednesday. Take good care. See you later. Bye.